What a very good evening to you. It's the 1st of February 2024, and I thought it's going to be a really good time, a good opportunity to take a look at the weather for the next week or so. I know a lot of people are talking about it. Is it going to get colder? Are we going to get snow? Well, yeah, find out. I think there's some changes afoot. Yeah. But today I got out and about. Beautiful. This was down at Bodiam Castle around about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Beautiful, clear, blue, sunny skies. And yeah, I just had a little walk around the grounds. It was absolutely fantastic. The low light just illuminating the moss, the fields looking all lovely and layered. Just a bit of high level cloud coming in from the front that's further north at the moment. A little church at St Giles, and also the bund which is protecting the village from the river Rother. But that's all of what's going on out there today. The sky was such that it was a lovely day down in the south of the UK. Beautiful, as you've seen, beautiful sunny skies. But towards the north, there is a weather front towards the northwest over the far northwest of Scotland. That's brought in rather a lot of cloud, and there's actually been a fair bit of rain. This is the current radar image, or it was about an hour ago. Quite a lot of heavy orographic rainfall falling across those western Scottish mountains over the highlands, but yeah, towards the east of the UK, or should I say to the east of Scotland, you've been relatively dry. Right, temperatures today have been relatively mild. Top of the hot 11.6 on the Isles of Scilly. Many stations across certainly England and Wales have been above 10 degrees, but as we've seen, rather a lot of cloud. This is on the Hebrides at Garve, I think that's how it's pronounced, drizzly sky. So yeah, been a bit of a north-south split. Right, things are going to change. So I'm going to show you firstly the jet stream. You don't get away with a forecast without one of these from me. So at the moment, we have got a very strong jet stream that's piling across the Atlantic, the core of it between the UK and Iceland. It was responsible for a really deep area of low pressure that zipped up towards Norway yesterday, fringing the far north of Scotland for a time. So this is the jet stream today, but fast forward 1 week, look what happens. Let's play that again. A jet stream just to the north of the UK with the UK mild. A week today, look at that. Jet stream to the south, and this is what we've said before. As soon as you start getting that jet stream to the south of the UK, over Spain, down towards the Mediterranean, you're on the north side of that jet. You're in cooler air, and then you start to look more towards the north and occasionally the east for your weather. But yes, changes are afoot, but it's never straightforward in the UK, as we will see in just a moment. So what I will now do is I will show you the temperature anomalies that are going to play out between now and around about the 7th of February. We've got very, very good agreement for this. So I'm going to take you up to that point, and then we're going to halt it. We're then going to look at two or three other models to see what the next stage is. And then we'll have a little look at the longer term ensemble. So all a lot to look at. So this is the situation today. We've got mild air pumping in from the Atlantic across the north of the UK. Temperature's been around average today in most places. And then over the course of the next few days, you're going to have this kind of mini battle going on between very mild air over the whole of the UK at times, with cooler air coming in from the west or the northwest at times, more especially across the north of the UK. So this is the anomaly tomorrow. You've got mild air across the the whole of the UK. By Saturday, that front has traversed further south, so there's cooler air to the north, but we do keep very mild, almost spring-like theme going on in the south. And by Sunday, the front is pushing back north. The milder air is pushing back north, but you've got the colder air pushing down from the north. And then we're back to universally mild, bar the far north of Scotland on Monday. And then by Tuesday the 6th, just notice how the colder air now starting to push in from the north gets to next Wednesday. And then, as we've seen in other forecasts, colder air is looking very likely now to get into the northern parts of the UK. Huge question marks still across many parts of England and Wales, but we'll run through it. We'll have a little look. You can all make your own mind up, and yeah, as I say, put something in the chat and let me know what you think is going on. If you do like these videos, please do like and share and subscribe. I noticed that I tend to lose subscribers at the end of a video normally, so I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, so if you could do that, just give us a subscribe and send it in the right direction. I'd like to get to 1,000 this month. Right. Anyway, so that's the situation. We're going to take this up to the 6th, but before then, we'll have a little look at what the weather's going to do for the next few days. I won't go into too much detail on them days. We'll pick that up in the forecast tomorrow for the weekend. But tomorrow, again, rather cloudy across many northern parts of the UK. Some showery bits and pieces of light rain and drizzle, more especially across the west. Always drier to the east. A very mild day tomorrow. I think we'll be seeing temperatures up to 14 degrees in many eastern parts of the UK. By Saturday, there is a weak front across the Midlands, North Wales. That's the boundary between the very mild air that's going to hold on in the south and the cooler air to the north. You can see the cooler air is demarked with the speckly stuff. That's the showers. That's the sort of precipitation you get in a polar maritime air mass. So that's typical of that. Then by Sunday, that front, it kind of just holds, but then it pushes back northwards again. So we get another push of milder air into the southwest across Ireland by the end of Sunday, pushing that cooler air across Scotland out of the way. Perhaps just a little bit of winteriness over the mountains for a short time. It turns very mild again over the weekend. We're in a bit of a warm sector, so still rather a lot of cloud around. I would have thought drizzle around the western coasts and more persistent rain across the north of Scotland, well, most parts of Scotland, in association with a front. Now, by the time we reach Tuesday the 6th, this is when the change starts to appear. And I'm just going to run this through. This was, I think, the ECM's run this morning. Just takes that cold front back south. I'm going to take it to the end of the day. I'm going to take it to there. That's where, at that point on the 6th of February, cold air is coming in from the north. Right, what we're now going to do, we're going to look at the three main models to see if we've got agreement on that. And this is the 7th. So this is Wednesday the 7th. And this is the take from the, let me have a little look at, I think it's the ECM, shows cold air coming into Scotland. This is the -5 line, mild air to the south. This is on Wednesday the 7th. Right, we now take a look at the GFS's take on it. You're going for this, again, good agreement for this -5 line, -10 approach in the north of Scotland. Still very mild across the south. So Wednesday the 7th, mild in the south, cold in the north. And if we just go to the icons take on it, hang on, let's have a little look. Have we got that? Yeah, and the icons take very similar to the other one. Cold to the north, mild to the south. So we've looked at those. Right, what comes next? So next week, this is the mean pressure chart. This is taken from Thursday the 8th. And it's very likely that we're going to start to pull in a lot of very deep low pressure. It looks as though it's going to sit very close to the UK. So we've got easterly winds starting to develop across the far north of the UK. The milder air is holding on down in the south. So yeah, we're going into a very sort of unsettled theme, that's for sure. It's the boundary as to where that cold air is, which is going to dictate where the rain and snow boundary is. So what we will now do is we will take a look at the ECM's take for the 8th of February. So as we saw, we took it to there, didn't we? What this shows is that there will be a push of milder air from the south on the 8th, but that's going to reach the colder air that is sitting across Scotland to give a potential snow event. Now, this is a week away. We know what happens. Things change, things drop south, things go north. So it's just the model illustration taking the ECM's view for this time, or should I say on the 8th of February. That's the ECM's take. Right, we will use the GFS's take, and they have the boundary of the colder air further south. So again, very good agreement. This deep area of low pressure close to the UK, very well modelled across the board now, is showing that there is a potential snow event as that rain pushes into northern England on Thursday. So just take a look at that as that pushes through. So all very interesting. There will be a boundary next week between mild and cold. It depends where that boundary is going to sit, which dictates, is it going to be rain? Is it going to be sleet? Is it going to be snow? So don't get too excited about these charts because these are just two snapshots. If we actually use the ensemble mean, this is the GFS. This was the run for 12 o'clock today, and this is for the 9th. This is next Wednesday around the 9th, or should I say the Friday the 9th. It's showing that really the good agreement for those ensembles is definitely for the north of Scotland to be seeing certainly cold enough air to support snow. Bearing in mind this is across 32 ensembles. Fairly good agreement at this stage that it will be a very wet picture for many parts of the UK, but we do need to track this situation quite closely. The ECM, I think they picked up quite nicely with the pressure patterns for next week. So they're showing a more of a negative anomaly across the UK, certainly across Central Europe up towards Scandinavia, suggesting much lower pressure than would be expected. And in slightly the longer term, what will happen? I'm going to show you this, and I need to speak to you about these anomalies. I've seen a number of forecasters showing this chart and instantly assuming that we're going to get northeasterly winds, assuming that this is an area of high pressure. This is not an area of high pressure. This is an anomaly. So the average January pressure across Iceland is approximately 985. This anomaly is 20 millibars above normal, so it means that the pressure will be somewhere around about 1005 millibars. Down towards the Azores, the average pressure should be around about 1020, and this is showing around about 1015. So you still got, you haven't got a negative North Atlantic NAO because you've still got lower pressure over Iceland in comparison to the Azores. So all this means is that you have a weaker polar vortex. It just means that we lose a lot of that mild southwesterly winds. So just a cautionary word of warning. Do not get sucked in looking at these charts thinking that is high pressure. That is an anomaly. That is relative to low pressure that normally sits. I hope I've explained that well. Right, longer term, I'm going to take this through towards the sort of the 11th to the 12th of February. There is a signal, again, this is a mean from the GFS, that the low pressure will start to transfer slightly towards the east, which brings in more of a signal for a more of a northwesterly or a more of a northerly influence, which would turn things colder. And if we just close this out by taking a look at the ensembles, well, there you go. I think we've got fairly good agreement now that we stay relatively mild. This is down in London, so this is the south, that we do stay mild, certainly up through the 7th to the 8th to the 9th. After the 10th, it would then appear really quite good agreement for the upper air to start falling down into cold territory. And if we just put some snow spikes on that, there is a bit of a signal appearing. Further north, that signal for snow is naturally much higher from around about the 7th or the 8th, because you're in that cold zone from as early as the 7th. And if we take a look at the 850s for Aberdeen, well, yeah, you're pretty cold generally from the 7th through until possibly mid-month and possibly beyond. So I think it's fair to say that we've got one big battle going on next week. Low pressure will be dominant. The battle between cold and mild will be sitting somewhere over the UK. It's favouring cold across Scotland. It's favouring mild across England at the moment. It's definitely suggesting a snow event where those boundaries meet. Longer term, it would appear, for now, that the cold will win out. Lots of water, excuse the pun, to cross under the bridge between now and then. But yeah, I'll just leave you with this little picture of what was a beautiful day across southeast England today. Thank you very much for watching, and ciao for now.